Did you know only 6% of people are getting enough fiber? That's why Quaker created Fiber February, a month-long movement to show your gut a little more love. It's like dry January, only easier and more delicious. Quaker has over 100 delicious options that are a good source of fiber. So go buy Quaker Oats today and join the Fiber February movement for a healthy gut.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
An all-new season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Mom Talk has just been blowing up.
Whitney and Jen are on Dancing with the Stars.
Taylor is a bachelorette.
Saying that out loud is crazy. Like, that is huge.
But all the cool opportunities could pull us apart. It's causing issues in everyone's marriage.
My whole world is falling apart right now. It's chaos.
Watch the Hulu original series, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Birds of the Round Table. Today, we are breaking down our top 10 offensive tackles in the 2026 NFL Draft. Joining me, he is Dave over there at David Neese, PHL on X. What's up, man?
What's going on, dude? Looking forward to talking about a position that everybody wanted to talk about for like the last 5 years. Lane Johnson's replaced. Finally, we're there, maybe.
Yeah, and maybe you need to get elite talent to pump into that Eagles O-line. We're going to go 10-1. Guys, if you're joining us, please be sure to comment your thoughts on this position. If you're joining us for the first time, we've already covered quarterback, running back, tight end. Am I missing anything? Or are those the 3?
Wide receiver? Did we do that?
Wide receiver. We also did wide receiver. Those are all on the channel as we roll ahead through the offensive side of the football. Let's jump right in. Number 10, David, who do you got?
Was it Jude Bowery? Did I say it right? Did I get it right? I think that was my number 10, Boston College. I struggled to find, we were talking about it before we went live, the last 3 guys on this list because they're all kind of like in another tier that I would kind of put like in the round 5 up kind of tier, I guess. I'd say maybe even the last 4. But his strengths, he's got heavy hands. He's got athletic upside. He did have some injury concerns, some technique inconsistencies. He's a late round tackle because of traits. He could be a guy who, you just kind of draft and you hope that he can be a swing tackle or you hope that he can be a swing OG or something at some point. But that, that's kind of where we're going to be for these first 3 guys that we talk about. They're all kind of in that same tier to me, which is like the 5th, 6th, 7th round. And outside of like the top 120 players, I normally just don't really dive that deep into these guys.
Same. I really like this class, especially for the Eagles when we get into like the top 6, 7, like you said. But I struggled to find my 9 and 10. And the guy I am talking about is Austin Barber out of the Florida Gators. Let me pull up and share my screen here.
At least he's got good size and length.
Yeah. Interesting guy. There you go. I should be popping up any moment. But yeah, good size and length. Effective puller in space, which I know the Eagles are looking for. Solid athleticism, long arms, goes for the kill in pass protection, gritty, high IQ kind of guy. And some of the concerns, the penalties. Oh my gosh, the penalties. In 21, I believe, or 22 penalties the last 3 years. 3 years of starting experience at both tackle spots in the SEC. Gotta love that. 3 years of starting, yeah. And that's really kind of where I'm at. I think he's probably a day 3 guy. Any thoughts on Austin Barber?
Yeah, I feel the same way. A day 3 developmental guy. On the plus side, he's a developmental offensive tackle, though. He does seem like a true tackle. He's got the size, the strength, like I mentioned, the size and length. He's got functional power. The concerns just come from lateral movement and consistent pass protection, really. And like you mentioned, the penalties, which comes from those inconsistent pass protection and technique problems. And then that's when you get grabby. That's when you get some of those problems there. But a guy who's 6'6", 6'7", 315 pounds. Depending upon which site you're looking at his numbers on, that's a guy who can be developed into an offensive tackle. For a late round grab, you can do a lot worse.
Let's jump into number 10. And I'll go, and then you can go next. Let's talk Drew Shelton out of Penn State. Another guy that I think will probably be like a day 3 kind of guy at this point in time in the draft process. He's got quick feet. He's a guy that has, intriguing traits, doesn't have great athleticism, shortish arms, and that's definitely a concern. And what do you think about this guy?
Yeah, he's got a really strong frame. I'd say, one of his strengths is strength. Not to sound silly, but but I do think that is, definitely a strength of his. He's got really good run blocking potential, which is, fits into a lot of NFL teams right now. The concerns, which is going to be sounding like a broken record with all these guys that are like these day 3 guys that are probably 10, 9, 8, and 7 on this list here, is the pass set technique, and he needs refinement. Again, it's a developmental guy, 6'5", 305 pounds. He probably could add a little bit more, bulk to him, but at 305, he's got a really strong frame.
Yeah, and allowed only 3 sacks against really good competition there in the Big Ten, and just 3 penalties the last 2 years. Interesting guy for day 3. Who's your number 9?
I had Casey out of Boise State.
Okay.
Another guy, a tough run blocker, good balance. The concerns come from, limited length, the aforementioned pass protection consistency issues. And he's another guy who he's a projected offensive tackle or guard. I think he could, be one of these guys who could be a swing kind of player, And again, I really like him, though. If the Eagles are throwing a dart, in round 6 or something, he's probably my favorite target of the ones we've mentioned so far. I just like just his toughness and his run blocking ability.
All right. And we are now at number 8. Who was your number 8 prospect?
We just did him, Drew Shelton.
Drew Shelton.
And then number 7 was Austin Barber. So we've covered my 10, 9, 8, and 7.
All right. Let's jump to my, I think, number 8. And that is, drum roll, Caleb Tiernan. Caleb Tiernan. Is he on your Is he on your list?
He is. He's 6th. Yep.
All right, cool. Talk a little bit about Caleb Tiernan. There you go. Really good pass protector. Really good size. And I think he's a guy that knows how to get pass rushers to the ground. Above average awareness, big body, a guy that plays through the whistle with some nastiness, balanced in the run and pass game. I like the fact that we saw his. I actually thought his penalties were less in 2025, but that's not the case here, per the graphic. But anyway, any thoughts on Caleb Tiernan?
Yeah, see, the last thing you have there on tail of the tape is he best at tackle or IOL in the NFL? And I think that is a question. He kind of, values at a tackle, but he does have that swing ability. I had him as a round 4 guy. That's why I have him at 6. I have him 1 tier higher than the previous 4. Like you mentioned, the size, 6'7", 6'8", 325, versatility. He has experience at both left tackle and right tackle, the length and frame, the scheme flexibility. I think the concerns are his foot speed. It shows up a little bit when you watch the tape, and he has struggled against some of the elite edge rushers. And I put a lot of stock into the competition level. Like, that's one thing I always look at when I'm doing these evaluations. And when I see a player, struggling against the top tier talent, that always knocks him down around for me because everybody that you face in the NFL is top tier talent. So it's something that he's going to have to, overcome there. But yeah, I have him as a, potentially even a day 2 developmental.
Rolling into my number 7, I have Caleb Lomu out of Utah. I think you had him at number 6.
5 or 6, yeah.
Do you want to go take the stage on Caleb Lomu?
Yeah, I had him at 6'6", 313. I don't know what your card there says. He's really smooth in pass protection. He's got excellent balance, really fluid footwork, strong hand usage. And I like all that because everything I mentioned is like the traits, and those are big. The concerns come from, I think he needs more lower body strength, and that's something you can work on. So that's why I had him as like a second round. Some people even have him in the first because I think his floor is really high. I think he's primarily a left tackle prospect going forward, but strength, functional strength and stuff, that's something that you can improve upon. The things that you can't is the length, which he has. And again, the footwork and the balance and the hands to me all kind of showed up.
Yeah, really did well at the combine. 7'4", 10-yard split, 9.88 RES score. Solid. Let's roll forward. And now we get to some really intriguing guys that I think are possible fits for the Philadelphia Eagles. Leading off with Blake Miller. What are your thoughts on Blake Miller?
He's probably my second favorite target for the Eagles. I absolutely love him. I mean, he's battle tested. In my opinion, the reason I'm so high on him, he's probably has the safest floor of this entire group. I mean, even of the 3 that we got above him, I think he's probably got the safest floor. He's just pro-ready, man. Right tackle, technically sound, strong anchor, experience. He's played the game. The concerns are, go even against my grain, which is normally I go for the elite athletic trait guys, and he's not an elite athletic trait guy. He is, like I said, technically sound and everything else, but he's just battle tested, and I think that's what's getting him by. But I do think the floor, it just makes him such a safe pick. If the Eagles don't have anyone else that they like on the board at that point, like at 23, or if they move down, like every time I do a mock, I always drop down to like pick 30 and still select Blake Miller. I think that's kind of the sweet spot. But I really like him as, and the fact that he's pro-ready at right tackle, to me, just is perfect guy for Lane Johnson's replacement, in my opinion.
Where did you have Blake Miller on your rankings?
Overall, for the Eagles, I have him number 2. Overall, I have him number 4.
Okay. I think we're at number 5.
You're 5, yeah.
All right. And I the guy that I am interested in is Caden Proctor, of course, out of Alabama. Just another prospect that I'm hopeful he can stick a tackle, but my vibes are that he probably kicks inside. And on my personal big board, I have him OG 2 behind Vega, but for the sake of this show, the guy's just a people mover. One of the most gifted athletes you'll see, just huge size and frame, just tons of inconsistency as a pass protector, given up a ton of pressures and sacks the last 3 years. What does the stats say? 35 pressures, 5 sacks the last 2 years. Prior to arriving to Alabama, he weighed over 400 pounds and then weighed 352 pounds at the combine, ran a 1.84 10-yard split, and then a 9.28 RES score. That's pretty awesome. Great first step, light feet despite that size, impressive lateral agility, and concern-wise, just a lot of inconsistency, whether that's the tape, the footwork, the body control. He gets beat way more often than you'd like. He's a guy that I think could easily lose 20 to 30 pounds, needs a lot of coaching and seasoning, but the potential is all there. What are your thoughts on Caden Proctor?
Yeah, I mean, you nailed I had him down to 37 pressures. I think you said 35, whatever site you go by. A lot of that's just differentiating because it's not an official stat. The 5 sacks, 6'7", 360. He's one of the largest tackle prospects in years. Very few human beings can combine that type of mass with his legitimate movement ability, which you touched on. His lateral ability and his movement is unparalleled for a guy that size. And his testing numbers are just absurd. Like he squat like 800 pounds, 530
Jeez.
bench. I mean, it's just insane. He's got an elite anchor versus power. His, best trait to me is his pure stopping power. Bull rushers basically just run into a damn wall with him. Massive lower body and core strength. The reason I didn't have him as high is because of the first thing you said when you mentioned him. I do think he kicks inside too.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine him being a tackle.
Okay. All right, let's roll on. I think we're at number 4. Is that fair?
You're 4.
All right, my number 4, and I'm going to go with the guy that I think is an awesome Eagles target. And the guy I am talking about, I'm going to butcher this. I apologize in advance. Max Ihanachor out of Arizona State. Did I get that right?
Close enough for me. I've nicknamed him the Anchor, just a play on words, and that way I can say it properly each and every time.
All right, but one of the most noteworthy stories in this year's class, he and his family are Nigerian immigrants. He arrived in the U.S. at the age of 13, grew up playing basketball and soccer, decided to give football a try in college, was a walk-on in 2021 at East Los Angeles College, transferred to Arizona State at 2023, and this was dominated at the combine. He was one of the biggest standouts. 173, 10-yard split, 991 RES score. Just uber raw. Just needs to really get coached up at the next level. But just an excellent run blocker, especially in zone schemes. Great athleticism, can get to the second level quickly. Improvement-wise, beyond being just raw and starting the game in 2021, the game just needs to slow down for him. And he doesn't have like a Mauler's mentality just yet. Doesn't have great anchor or he's not soft, weak, or overpowered by any means, but he's not the road grader you would want to see. But overall, I think he's a first-round talent. Any thoughts on Max Ihanachor?
Absolutely. I have him number 3 on my total list, but number 2 on my Eagles list. I absolutely love him. He's one of the most intriguing offensive tackles in the class to me. As you mentioned, a late bloomer. He barely even played the sport. You mentioned the soccer and basketball background, which you see on tape. You mentioned the combine. He also thoroughly dominated at the Senior Bowl. He was just a beast out there throwing people around. He's risen quickly throughout this process. Scouts love his upside because he's only been playing football for a short time. And that's what's so intriguing, because he's already has starting level pass protection ability. He had, I believe, like a 4.9 40 at 320 friggin' pounds, which is just insane. You mentioned the elite historical athletic profile. When you watch him tape, he's very quick to kick and slide. He's got smooth lateral movements, and his ability to just mirror speed rushers is what just stands out to you. Again, that goes back to, in my opinion, that footwork, that soccer and basketball footwork. I think he only allowed 3 quarterback hits on 500 pass snaps, which is absolutely crazy. But again, it's just indicative of those quick feet and the long arms that just widen, his ability to block all of the different rush angles, his ability to stay connected to the edge rushers. If I'm the Eagles and he's there at 23, there's only one guy at this position I would have taken before him if I'm with the Eagles, but this might be the pick. I mean, he just has all of the traits, and this is a guy who could be the next Lane Johnson, who'd be on the Eagles for 10 years. Absolutely love him.
Love it. We're rolling through this thing. We might have to do a mock with some offensive linemen.
Love it. I only have 2 guys left.
All right. Next up, I'm at number 3, and he's not on your list. Not surprising. There's some really questionable guys, whether they're interior or offensive tackles. And this one is Francis Mauigoa, 6'6", 315 out of Miami. A guy whose stock has fallen a little bit, just a tad. But there you see the stats. 3-year starter, has gotten better every season, especially in pass protection. Just a dog. Great anchor. Plays with good motor through the whistle, adequate arm length to stick at tackle, but I think he's a people mover in the run game. And I think you're going to likely see him move to the inside. I like that he's durable. He did not miss a single game over the last 3 years as the starting right tackle for the Hurricanes. He does have some medical concerns. He did have both shoulders surgically repaired with labrum injuries back in 2024, but that didn't make him miss any football. And he just needs to improve his technique. Struggles against speedier edge rushers. And I personally thought he was more of a guard than a tackle. But before we did our rankings, I don't know if he was on the list of guys I was unsure about. If he, gets called to the Eagles, slide him to right guard tomorrow, forget about it. Maybe he's your right tackle down the line. What do you think about Francis Mauigoa?
Yeah, I didn't have him on my offensive tackle list because I have him at IOL. I do think he kicks over to guard, but that doesn't mean I don't like him. I have him as a first rounder, and I think he's number 2 on my IOL list. I mean, he's got a rare combination of size, athletic ability, early college production, like you mentioned, all those starts in college, consensus All-American, just dominant at the point of attack. He's hard to move once he anchors. He can displace defenders in the run game, which is what you want to see, kind of like indicative of Landon Dickerson. His combination of power and balance just makes him extremely difficult for defenders to get around. And he was also very young, playing at a very high level. I think he only allowed 15 pressures in 2025. He's just rarely beaten, quick feet for his size. Again, the only knock I have on him is that I think he probably kicks inside.
All right. And then we get to number 2. I think our top 2 are flipped.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. Who's your number 2?
Spencer Fano? Am I saying that right?
I think it's Fano, but I could be wrong.
All right, we'll go with you. I butcher this nonstop, so we'll go with that. Yeah, I can see why you have him number 1. He's one of the most polished offensive linemen in the 2026 class. I mean, he's widely viewed as OT1. Scouts love his athleticism, technique, consistency, especially in the run game. Like you got there on Tail of the Tapes, played a lot, significant snaps at both right and left tackle. He's one of the more decorated linemen in Utah history, winning the Outland Trophy, just, extremely fluid athlete, excellent in short area quickness, great recovery skills. I believe he ran like a 4.9. He's, again, one of those guys who just has that quick kick, slide, and pass protection. His run blocking, to me, is where he really shines. I think he might be the best run blocker in the entire class. He's just explosive off the, that burst off the first step. He takes excellent angles, and he just consistently driving defenders off the ball. I mean, in 2025, I don't think he allowed any sacks or QB hits. I don't know if that's on your thing. I don't think he allowed any. Yeah, 0 sacks. It's just unbelievable. 5 pressures, no sacks, no QB hits. His balance and footwork is just, unparalleled. He's probably one of the more sure things in this entire draft, quite frankly. But yeah, he's great. The only reason I have somebody ahead of him is because I'm just gambling on traits.
Yeah. There's always guys during this draft process that I just gush about. But it's like, there's always like a really well-balanced offensive lineman that I probably am the highest on. I'm probably going to have this guy in my top 10, top 5 when all said and is done. So I think he's fantastic. I think he's got legit all-pro potential if he puts it all together.
Absolutely. Phenomenal hair.
What's that like? All right. My number 1, we are going to...
You're number 2.
Oh, yeah.
My number 1.
Your
Spencer
number 1.
was your 1.
Do you want to talk about him or do you want me to talk about him? Because you're like probably like the highest on him, I think.
Monroe Freeling. Yeah, Georgia offensive tackle. Again, I know he won't be OT1 on every board, but I think he really, really showed a lot during the combine and the process there. He's one of the more athletically gifted tackles, just like the guy we were just talking about. But he is a classic high ceiling prospect. And that's why I have him 1, because I'm just shooting for the stars with him. He has just elite movement ability and length. And I don't think we've seen his best. I think he's still developing power and consistency, and his best is yet to come. And that's why I put him first, because I think the upside is just unreal. He became a full-time starter in 2025. That's why he doesn't have all of the other starts that a lot of these guys have. But his athletic testing is just freakish. 4.9, 340 speed, 33.5 vertical jump, 9.7 broad jump. For people who like the RAS score, I think it was like 9.99. Is that what you have on yours?
Uh,
It was ranked second among 1,500 tackles since 1987.
I mean, he was elite as it gets.
Yeah, it's unreal. He's just a very smooth athlete.
9.99.
Yeah, second out of 1,500 tackles since 1987. I mean, it just unreal. Excellent lateral range, long arms to control the rushers. He gave up, I think, 3 sacks last season. Yeah, you got it up there. 3 sacks, no QB hits, 6 hurries. I think he's the best pure pass blocking tackle in this class. And again, I'm gambling on the traits. I kind of swing for that. If I have 2 players close like I did him and Spencer, I always go with the guy who I think might have the highest ceiling, and I think Freeling is that guy.
Yeah. He's in that same tier where if him and like Vega are sitting there when the Eagles are on the clock at 23, it's a no-brainer for me. Just do it. And
I'm just glad he showed up like this. Like, I've been gushing about him since December.
I remember.
And mainly I was called stupid until he went to the combine. So it's nice to see just how, all those athletic traits showed up, because he's just really amazing. The guys like Spencer and some of the other ones we've mentioned, Lemieux and stuff, everybody already knew about them. I think Freeling, for guys who don't watch a lot of Georgia football and stuff, saw what those of us who pay attention to that team had seen most of the year. And I think the same with Max. And I think you're kind of similar to me. You like these traitsy, toolsy guys, and because I remember you liked Nolan Smith when nobody did too. Like me and you talked about him every week in 2023. And another Georgia guy, ironically, but just those traits are just something that I'm always going to chase.
Yep. All right. I say we do a mock draft. And we'll each do a mock draft. We have to take an offensive tackle. We haven't done one of these, I think, in a couple of weeks. But that was the quickest we've ever done a top 10, ever.
That's because we only had one guy different.
That's true. Yeah, good point. We kind of hit each our own guy.
I don't know if that says a lot about us or just the class just kind of dumps after the top 6, 7 guys.
Yeah, agreed. This is definitely a draft. If you're, with the changes on the offensive line right now, especially with coaching, it might be a really good idea to invest heavy on the O-line. You want to go first, or want me to go first?
Whichever you prefer. I have no preference.
All right, you're going first, man.
All right.
I feel like I go first, and I take like Vega, and you get upset.
All right, let's do it. So just go to OT right away, because I'm taking one first freaking round. I am not waiting. So right. Freeling is gone, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Give me Max. Core.
Sure.
I like Blake Miller there too, but I'm going for the best I can get.
Sounds good. All right, you're on the clock.
Go to wide receivers. Wide receivers. Yeah, there you go. Give me Jern.
Give me Bernard. All right.
I'm going super offense here.
Yeah?
Howie said that's what he's going to do, so let's do it.
Okay. You won't take Mike Washington Jr.
I do like him a lot, though. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that Arkansas offense. Go to IOL. Wow, Zach Branch still there. Chase is probably gone, but somebody's. Give me Keelan Rutledge. And I've just rebuilt the offensive line, and I have a player for when AJ goes after 2026. All right, I need a tight end now. I'm going super offense. I don't even want to look at defensive players. Go to the tight end.
I feel like I might have to go offensive tackle then all defense.
Yeah. All right. I do not think Trigg is a fit for the Eagles for reasons I'm not discussing. Ugh.
There's your boy.
Yeah, what number are we at, though?
You're at number 98. You have 3 picks.
Pick 98. Yep. Give me Oscar Delp then. I'll take him at pick 98. If this was one before it, I wouldn't do it, but the uncertainty of Dallas Goedert. Did they push that to Monday? Did they push it to...
Which sounds like that means they're still looking at trades, right?
I would think, yeah. I know there's 3 teams in on AJ, so that has to be what this thing is about.
Well, someone just reported that they're choosing between AJ and Dallas. So regarding the cap hit, they can't keep both. So
I don't know if that's the way it's being presented to Dallas Goedert. Why would you keep pushing it out if you...
Right.
I don't know if that's how it's being presented, but we'll see. Go to quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. Is that a steal at this point?
I'm not the biggest Nuss fan.
I'm a Taylon Green guy.
You're going.
Reminds me of Randall Cunningham. I agree with Taylon's dad.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah. And then everybody can question Hurts's longevity with the team. This is another pick. Give me Malik Muhammad here. Even though they just got Reek Woolen, I mean, he's on a 1-year deal, and after he shows off in this Fangio defense, it's over. He's gone.
All right. A D+ from PFF.
I take this 10 out of 10 times. I absolutely love this. Might be my favorite mock I've done out of 280 I've done this year. Absolutely love this one.
All right. Guys, if you're watching us, please comment on David.
Hey, let me screenshot that real quick. This is beautiful. Thank you. All right.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Tap the banner to learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Cologuard. Do you know what's really scary? Not screening for colon cancer when you turn 45. The Cologuard test is non-invasive, requires no special prep or time off work, and ships right to your door. In just 3 simple steps, Cologuard takes the scare out of colon cancer screening. If you're 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about the Cologuard test. Cologuard is available by prescription only. Learn more or request a prescription today at Cologuard.com/screen.
Did you get it?
I did, yeah. It's a work of art. I ain't losing that one.
All right. I'm going to do this again, and then we'll head out of here.
This really was a short show.
It was, right?
Were we talking fast?
I guess. All right. Monroe Freeling went number 21 to the Steelers.
Yeah, how do you not go the top guy right there?
Man.
Omar Cooper Jr. Wow, you got a pretty good board there.
Let me see what tackles are available still.
Plenty.
I don't like the way this played out. I don't like it's what you got to go high. Are we doing trades or no trades?
Yeah, trade. Do it. Howie's going to do some damn trades to do it. He averages like 4 or 5 a draft. I always pay too much for my trades because I'm worried that people are going to say I didn't pay enough, so I end up overpaying. So I don't trade too much.
All right. Looking to trade back a little bit with the Titans.
Love it.
Accepted. And we got a 2nd-round pick next year. And, oh, man. Maxie and Troy went in the previous.
Yeah, went 1 pick head.
That did not go as planned. That's where I was looking. All right. So we have
Lemou's still there. It's pretty crazy.
I think I'm going that way. Caleb Lemieux. And to the Birds. Love the trades. Eagles on the clock again.
I love that IOL you got there. Chase Basantis. I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, that's really like where I think the Eagles should leave their mark with this draft. It's a very questionable draft, but there's definitely an opportunity to rebuild the trenches a bit, whether
Agreed.
that's interior or offensive tackle or defensive tackle and edge. In this specific draft, I feel like that's where they should go invest heavy.
Yeah, they got to use 2 of their top 75 picks, in my opinion. That's where the value is on here as well.
And if like when we get to my like the way you see all these like edge rushers like getting paid these days, like it's crazy. Like I feel like it's a no brainer, but we're going Chase Besantis.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Rebuild the Eagles O line.
I mean,
All right.
Tyler Steen's already in his last year, right? This is it. This is already year 4 for him.
All right.
It's crazy how fast this crap flies by.
I know, right? LaMelo Height, get a rotational pass rusher. Yep. Getting my guy Sam Roush. I'm really happy about that. Sorry, David. I'm kind of replicating your all offense draft.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that, though. I mean, Roush is probably one of the most underrated players in this draft. He's so polarizing for absolutely no reason. Like, he's like in the top 100 on some boards and then like 180 on some boards. It's like super strange.
Yeah. Really liked him a lot.
You could play him tomorrow blocking. Speaking of tight ends, did you ever foresee them re-signing Grant Calcaterra?
No.
Of all of the moves, that was the most just confusing to me. And to be fair, I guess if they use him as a pass and, receiver, I think, he'll probably do pretty well. They just were playing him in the wrong way. I mean, he was just never brought in to be a, blocker, but it was super confusing to just kind of see him jump on him the way they did, especially the way tight ends weren't making a lot of money in free agency. Like, they could have had any of these guys. Malik.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer at that point. We're getting to the point of the draft where I already have my guys.
And it drops off, quite frankly. I mean,
yeah.
The sweet spot of the draft late is probably the tight end position, quite frankly. That's what's available at 120. There are a bunch of tight ends that you could go for at this stage.
I'm doing it. I'm getting Borkircher.
Yeah.
An elite tight end, too, that can be here for 10 years.
Look at the speed there with Brennan.
Yeah. I honestly haven't looked into him yet.
Yeah, he's a burner.
Have not taken an edge yet.
I love Michael Taff as well.
Yeah, now we need a safety. Let's do it. All right.
And you've revitalized the Exciting White Mike podcast. They announced.
All right, how we do? We got a C+.
Yeah, that's...
Yep.
I mean, you have Roush, Ted Hurst, Chase. I mean, yeah, there would be nobody who could complain about that if that's the way it fell out. And you picked up a round 2 in 2027, which is by most accounts a far better draft.
Yep. I'm happy about this. I missed out on Max Iheanacho there in round 2 by 2 picks. And I think in round 1, Monroe Freeling went like 2 picks ahead of us as well. That sucked. So Howie was a little bummed about that one. But I love Sam Roush. I think he's got tight end 1 potential. I think Ted Hurst would be a really fun guy to develop as the next X receiver. Malik Muhammad I can't wait for the cornerback show. Let's talk about him. Nate Borkircher, we did our tight end rankings. I was really high on him as a guy that can hold his own at the point of attack, in line, play on the line of scrimmage. The guy is a mauler, and will be really fun here in Philadelphia. I think Eagles fans will love him. And Michael Taff, you got a safety. So there you go.
And Makuba has his defensive back safety with him again. Yeah. Short learning curve there in Philadelphia.
All right, guys, if you're watching us, please comment. Who had the better Eagles mock draft? Let us know down in the comments. David, let's wrap it up. Final thoughts on the offensive tackle group and anything you got going on?
Yeah, I think just doing the 2 mocks, you saw exactly what the issue is with the offensive tackles. You better grab one in the top 40 picks or you're not going to get one of the guys. So you're going to be able to count on as being a long-term starter. The value is, it's very top-end heavy. It falls off. There's a lot of guards who you can take later. Keelan Rutledge, Chase Basantis, and as much as I like Vega, like at IO, I would still probably take an OT even if he was standing there because you have better options at IOL, 20 picks later than you do at offensive tackle. I think, the cliff falls really quick there as you saw in both mock drafts.
All right. Anything you got going on that you want to plug?
No. Next week I'll just have, find everything at my X handle or at phillysportsnetwork.com. I had like 3 pieces this week. I got a couple next week. I haven't updated my draft board yet because even though I did it before the combine, I just don't think it changed much, quite frankly. Like it just kind of affirmed everything as opposed to really changing much information. So I haven't really done a lot of that, but due to free agency, I haven't really released too much draft stuff the past couple of weeks, but that's about the only thing that'll be coming out the next 4 weeks.
All right, guys. Make sure you give David a follow at David Nees PHL on X. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll be back next Friday night talking interior offensive line. Right, David? I think that's where we're going.
Yep.
Yeah, fun.
Ryan should be here. He's going to be back. I don't remember what show he was on, but he'll be back.
All right. See you guys then. Make sure you subscribe to the Eagles Pin Pool Network. I am Deibs. He is David. Stay awesome.